Gen.G have made it to 6 straight grand finals, and while they haven't won all of them, they have won several of them. Of course, this means that their offense has been clicking since day one. So today we go back to where it all began, the Fall Open, to see what their offense looked like then, and then compare it to what it looked like just a couple of days ago in the Winter Cup. We're going to kick things off by looking back to Gen.G's first ever event together. This is the semifinals of the Fall Open when they came up against Spacestation Gaming. We're going to go ahead and give this play a watch, and then we'll go ahead and break it on down. This is obviously in the early days of Gen.G, so we're not expecting everything to necessarily be super crisp, but we're expecting to see some pretty solid ideas that we'll definitely see develop over the next couple months. So right here, we're going to notice that there's this massive clump of players here in the middle of the field, and this ball is just falling very nicely for a free touch for Noly. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to bang this on forward, because in his mind, he wants to go ahead and put his team in the best chance to succeed while taking the lowest amount of risk possible. So he's going to go ahead and bang this ball forward, and we're going to have Kronovi go ahead and jump up for it. So if we go ahead and roll this play forward, we'll see he just goes ahead and taps it up into the air. So now he can't follow this, so he's going to fall back to the ground. And we're going to go ahead and have Kronovi, who's just kind of chilling on the sidewall, go ahead and chase after this. Now, admittedly, we'll see Kronovi using his flip right here. This is a very difficult ball to do anything dangerous with. So while Kronovi does jump up for this with maybe the thought that he's going to do something offensively threatening, what this ends up doing is being a more pressured jump. And by his existence in the air here, he is going to force the SSG defense to react to him. So we'll go ahead and follow him through the air here. So we'll see that LJ is forced up to make sure that Kronovi can't have this touch. And LJ is going to go ahead and tap this ball down into the corner. So that's going to take Kronovi out of the play. But that's not any kind of trouble, because Jack has been monitoring the progress of this play the whole time, and he now sees exactly where LJ is playing this ball. So now the natural thought is this ball is going to drop into the corner. Someone from Space Station is probably going to try to pick up the corner boost and then take the ball out back downfield. Well, Jack doesn't want to allow these guys the resources to progress on offense. So what he's going to do is rush into this corner, not really worry about the ball as of yet, but he's just going to deny resources to get his boost back up to 100 so he can then make a play on the ball. So go ahead and take a look at that. He goes ahead and rushes into the corner, steals the boost, and now he's going to wait to see what transpires. So based on the bounce of this ball, so LJ is the next most likely player to just kind of follow this ball up. Of course, this ball is working its way towards Jack, which means that if Jack just turns up the wall here, he has the play out, and LJ will not be able to reach it in time. So that's exactly what Jack's going to do. This ball is going to bounce up, and now let's look at our options here. So Kronovi, well, we can't do anything with him. He's on his way back. We could keep it ourselves, but this ball is bouncing in a very difficult fashion in order to get control and actually do something threatening with it. So let's look for what the easy option is. Well, the easy option is this pass right across the field to Noly, who has all of this space to work with. So Jack sees that option, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. Go ahead and see this. The pass comes across. Unfortunately, Daniel also sees this pass coming and is going to take Noly out of the play. So while that was a great idea from Jack, unfortunately that bump does kind of make it null and void. So now with the offensive player and offensive threat removed, it looks like SSG should have a way to get this ball downfield. And it probably starts here with Arsenal possibly getting a touch over to the side wall and allowing Daniel a transition downfield. Jack is going to notice that Arsenal is in a bit of an awkward spot, and he's just going to kind of cruise across the face of the SSG defense, just kind of waiting to see if any mistake is going to happen with this touch from Arsenal. And it's this opportunistic positioning that is going to see this happen. So Arsenal does miss the touch, so now this ball falls in an awkward spot, and these guys have to make up for this miss, which is exactly what they're going to try to do. Of course, they don't have the best positioning, so they kind of just have to put a car in front of Jack. Unfortunately, because Jack has the speed and the momentum, he does win that challenge and forces it back into SSG's corner. So now we flip back over to Noly, so this ball is going to be free. For us, we have plenty of boost, but what we just saw from the SSG defense is they've all kind of committed this way. So now they're going to be working to rotate back around, which means we want to put this ball in as awkward a position as we can for people who are rotating back. And that's exactly what Noly is going to do. So he's going to go ahead and get this touch, and you'll notice that he just puts this ball directly back into the ceiling. And what this is going to do is give it a sharp bounce down, which is going to make it really hard for any defensive players who are rushing back to read. Of course, if you have someone just kind of chilling in the midfield, this is not that difficult to read. So if we go ahead and continue this play on forward, it hits the ceiling. Noly is actually going to follow this up and get another touch, making life even more awkward for the defenders on SSG, because now not only were they reading the ceiling bounce, but now they also have to read a bounce off the backboard coming off of that ceiling bounce. So Noly is making things as unpredictable as possible for the SSG defenders who are trying to rotate back. And as we'll see here, it's this bounce off the backboard. LJ thinks it's in, Arsenal is just awkwardly frozen backwards, and that allows Kronovi, who's just kind of been chilling in the midfield this whole time and watched this whole play develop, to be able to score this. Because we'll see that Kronovi is advancing from his own half, and he sees this touch come through from Noly, knows that Noly's going to get another touch, and as this play comes off the backboard, he's able to just see the entire wall of SSG defense that is just super awkward in front of him. So as this ball drops down, he knows as soon as LJ misses that he is going to have the next touch, goes quickly, gets the shot perfectly into the top right, and that's what's going to give us the goal. So we'll notice that Gen.G's offense in this situation was all about putting the ball into awkward situations for the SSG defense to deal with, and also trying to get passes when they became available. We'll notice that Noly at the very beginning just kind of chucked the ball upfield to try to give a pass to Kronovi. Jack tried to give a pass to Noly out of the corner, and they took opportunities when the passing lanes were there, but it wasn't like every single touch was going to be a pass. They were very much concerned with putting the ball in awkward spaces so that the SSG defense would struggle to read it. Of course, as Gen.G's offense has developed, we've seen a bit of another level, and that's what we'll take a look at next. And we're going to be taking a look at how this offense has evolved throughout the months and how it looks now. So we'll go ahead and run this playthrough one time, and then we'll go ahead and break it on down. So now that we've been able to see what the whole play looked like, let's go ahead and break it on down, shall we? So we're going to start out right here looking at Kronovi as he came off of the respawn from being demoed. So he respawns and sees this ball coming flying across the field, sees that he has quite a bit of space based on where all the FaZe players are, so he's just going to take his time, drive up this wall, and get a touch back out downfield. We'll run this forward a little bit slowly, so he's going to come up this wall. And now he's actually timing this jump, because you'll notice that if he looks across the field, he can see that there is still indeed quite a bit of space for Noly to work with. So this touch is going to be designed to go across the field in the direction of Noly, so that we can maintain possession. One of the things we'll notice with every touch that Gen.G makes, very similar to what we kind of saw from BDS when they were at their peak last season, every touch is either going to go close enough to themselves that they can maintain possession, or is going to be fired across in the direction of a teammate. You will very rarely see any touches just be put into open space. So as we'll see here, as we go ahead and roll this forward, touch is going to come across the field. Noly does cut in, but recognizes that Typical is going to beat him out, so he does turn back. So right idea from Kronovi here to go ahead and try to get the ball over to Noly, but unfortunately it just doesn't work out. Now from Jack's point of view here, he sees that this ball is coming at him and he has this touch for free. However, he doesn't really have any teammates to pass to in this situation. Noly is driving backwards, and Kronovi is also making a turn to drive backwards as well, following the rule of keeping the ball with ourselves or giving it off to our teammates. That's exactly what Jack is going to do here. Gets a flip into the ball and gets a soft enough touch that he's able to follow it up with boost and carry on along, and then judges the path that Mist is coming from to go ahead and get a dunk on this touch here. So Jack has already done a great job of buying our teammates time to retreat to grab boost and now get back in the play. So now we've gone ahead and maintained possession here. Now Jack did just do a great job there of checking with his camera if we look back at this. So goes ahead and gets this block here. Now as he's landing, he's checking. Okay, I don't see anybody in net, so I'm just going to go ahead and land under this ball and let it bounce right off me and put it on target. Great idea, great awareness to identify that the net was open and the best method to be able to put the ball on net. Unfortunately, Firstkiller does recover here, so while this is a great play from Jack, the defense from FaZe is just a little bit better, and Firstkiller manages to get the clear. Now as Firstkiller gets the clear, we have to take a moment to look at all of this space. So now FaZe, based on this visual, knows that Jack probably doesn't have all that much boost, and this is true. He doesn't have a whole ton of boost. They also know that Kronovi is really far away from the play. So in their minds right now, they want to go ahead and utilize all of this space to probably collect this boost, take the ball up the wall, and then make a play in Gen.G's half. Unfortunately, what they don't expect is just how fast this challenge is going to come in from Kronovi. So if we go ahead and flip over to Kronovi here, yeah, he's on 0 boost, but he's just going to go ahead, wave dash on the wall, get a couple of chain dashes, and he's going to force FaZe to not have the time to play this ball that they would have liked. So this is the importance of always applying pressure to your opponents. Yeah, Kronovi might not have any boost, but he's not really trying to make a play on this ball to set his team up to score. His mentality right here is, okay, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna make this as awkward as possible and force them to have to take this ball around me by just being here, which is exactly what FaZe intend to do. FaZe goes ahead, Mist trying to get a 50-50, Kronovi just dunks it on through. Looks to try to steal the boost, unfortunately isn't able to. So now Firstkiller has control of the ball, Kronovi stuck in the corner with 0 boost. So from this angle right here, well, this looks like a great possibility for FaZe to get a clear. Except for the fact that, amongst all this pressure from Kronovi, Noly has now flown in. So we're literally not allowing FaZe any space in their back corner. Kronovi dives in with 0 boost, Noly has 100 from Jack buying time. So now he's able to come over, he sees Firstkiller trying to take control of this ball up the wall, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm not allowing you to do that for free. I'm going to cut you off and attempt to keep the ball directly, solidly in your half. So he's going to go ahead and come around here, goes ahead and jumps at Firstkiller just to force Firstkiller to get rid of the ball. Again, if Noly gets a block on this ball, fantastic. That's great. But it's not what his intention is. His intention is to fly forward here to force Firstkiller to get rid of the ball. And once Firstkiller gets rid of the ball, well, now Typical doesn't have the speed to follow it up. We know that Mist just went for the challenge in the back corner here. He doesn't have the speed to follow it up. Kronovi's out of the play. So that means that with all of these players out of the play, there's only one person left that can actually benefit from this challenge. We know we have our last man back. Let's get their guy off the ball, and let's give it for free to our last man. Jack is going to position himself in the direction that Firstkiller is most likely to play the ball. Firstkiller plays it exactly where Jack is expecting, and now Jack knows that Firstkiller has already used his flip, already is not in the best position to be able to follow this ball up, so if Jack goes quick and decisively, this is going to be a free ball. So Jack jumps up here, knows he's going to beat Firstkiller out, and now let's look at the options that Jack has. So looking at this, Kronik flipping back into Gen.G's own half, so we're not going to go there. Mist covering the net, so we don't want to go there. Typical challenging the ball, so we don't want to try to take control of this because we'll probably get bumped off. Firstkiller's out of the play. Well, hey look! Noly's landing on the back ball. He's going to drive down. What if we just tap the ball down to Noly, and then Noly can go ahead, and once he lands on the ground here, can go ahead and take a shot towards net. This is something that Gen.G is really good at. When they have a teammate landing on the back wall like this, they will so often look for this pass coming out of the midfield. Because it is so hard when you're kind of expecting that this is either going to be a touch high on the wall to a double tap, or it's going to be a touch directly on net. You're not really thinking about what this guy is doing, you're thinking about what this guy is doing. So we can really put the defense in knots by sending the ball to the guy that's coming off the backboard. And that's exactly what Jack's going to do here. So as we go ahead, he just kind of taps it forward. Noly knows exactly what's coming. Mist is caught in a very awkward position. Now Noly with his ball coming at him is just going to sit and wait. Has the ball come to him, give it a little doink, except it's not a doink because he used his flip. Mist does react in time, but this is a beautiful play coming through from Gen.G. Lovely pass play from Gen.G just to put a ton of pressure onto Mist. Unfortunately, in this situation, it just doesn't work out. Now this ball's going to pop out mid. So now, okay, we're in a bit of a retreating situation here, right? We're kind of all on low boost. We're not in the strongest position to attack. Of course, no one really tells Jack that, because he is going to see this ball bouncing out this way, and he's going to see Noly heading towards this mid boost, and his idea is, hey, well, I don't have any momentum, but if I can get a pre-flip pass out in this direction, Noly can very well turn on it, and we can maintain offensive pressure. So that's what he's going to attempt to do. Unfortunately, for the first time ever, this doesn't really work out because Firstkiller does beat him to it, and Jack doesn't execute perfectly here, so FaZe is going to get the clear downfield. Finally, FaZe has bought themselves a little bit of time, a little bit of space, and they can kind of start to work on generating some offense, right? Wrong, because Kronik's sitting right here waiting to receive this touch from Firstkiller. So now, what's Kronik gonna do? Well, let's look at his options. So, Jack is heading back this way. We don't really have much of an option there. Noly is off screen over here, so we don't really have much of a pass going this way. Well, what does Gen.G do when they don't have passing options? We're going to go ahead and keep this ball to ourselves and try to keep it as close as possible so we can continue to follow it up. That's exactly what Kronik's going to do here. Goes ahead, gets this touch onto the wall, then air rolls his car so that his wheels are going to land on the wall, and now if we look at this situation, once again, Kronik has done a great job of making sure that nobody is able to challenge, which is exactly what Gen.G want. So Kronik's going to go ahead, and he's going to get this next touch, and again, let's look at the situation we're in. Do we have anybody in the midfield? Not really. All of our teammates are back this way. Well, how do we get the ball back this way when it's in this position? Well, that's simple. We're going to go ahead and attack the part of the backboard that's not being defended. Based on how low Kronik is flying at this ball, we can see that Mist is not necessarily anticipating a touch high onto the backboard as he's driving down to the ground. So the undefended part of the net is this area here. So that is exactly where Kronik's going to send this ball, allowing it to bounce out for his teammates who are attacking from the midfield. So as we roll this forward just a little bit more, Kronik gets the touch high. No one's on the backboard to defend it. And now let's look at the positioning of our teammates here. Well, looky here, not only do we have one player to attack this, but we actually have two. So this ball is going to bounce for free off the backboard. And because these guys are just fully grounded in net, we can just go ahead and get a free touch. Mist reacts to the high backboard touch a little too late. Unfortunately, can't get a touch. And the trust from FaZe to think that Mist was going to get a touch to allow them to push back upfield. Ends up being punished by Noly coming through and getting this free shot on goal. And as we'll see, slots it perfectly, puts Gen.G up 5-0. As a general breakdown of Gen.G's offense, it really comes down to every touch I make is going to be either to myself or to a teammate. With that mentality, we keep the other team out of the play as much as possible and really just focus on what we're doing. So that'll just about wrap it up for this analysis of the evolution of Gen.G's offense. Of course, it has evolved quite a bit from their first event back in October of 22 to now their 6th straight Grand Finals appearance in February of 2023. How much further can the Gen.G offense get? Honestly, that's a little scary to think about just because of how deadly they've become already. But I'm very excited to see how this will transpire going forward. Of course, if you guys do enjoy videos like this and other videos that I have produced, please consider clicking that bright red subscribe button right down below this video. It really does help me out a lot more than you guys realize, and I really do appreciate it. Of course, if you're looking for some more entertainment, might I recommend checking out this playlist right here for some more Rocket League replay analysis, or check out this video over here to see how I made a Grand Champion lose to Psyonix's Rocket League bots.